What's up, everybody? Hutch here, and this is your Module 12, Part 2. More equations and inequalities. They're supposed to be a lot harder. They really aren't. We've done a lot of these already. But the big reason for the Part 2 is these are all 8th grade standards. You can see that's what the 8 is in all these standards. So let's go ahead and jump right in. You can take a look at the learning goals on your own as well as the new vocabulary. Some of these are going to be familiar to you. Okay, legs of a right triangle, the shorter sides of a triangle. The the hypotenuse, is the longer side of a right triangle. We're going to be talking about Pythagorean theorem, triangle sum theorem, triangle inequality theorem, and then the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your first section here. I don't think we really need to review the procedures for solving an equation with variables. We know that we're going to use opposite order of operations, or SAD-MERG. Okay, and that's just saying that we do any addition, subtraction, then multiplication, division, exponents and roots, and that grouping is locked up at the end there. So we'll go through that. One other reminder, though, if you're ever solving for a variable and the variables disappear, okay, and you end up with just the constants, remember that if the two equal each other, then that means you have an infinite amount of solutions, because anything you put in for the variable, if the variable's disappearing, then it doesn't really matter. Everything's going to work. The contrasting situation would be if you get rid of the variables and you end up with numbers that are not equal to each other. Okay, if that's the case, that means anything you put in for the variables, if they're disappearing and the numbers remaining aren't equaling each other, that means we never can have a solution. So no solution for those ones. All right, so let's go ahead and practice these. I'm just going to do one example for this. The rest you're going to do on your own because they're self-checking. Okay, if you can't check and get the right answer, that's going to be something to talk to me about later. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one as an example. We're going to separate our workspace here. Remember, we need to get all the variables on one side, so I'm going to subtract 12y to both sides so that I can start getting those variables over there. Make sure we cross that out. We're going to make a new layer here. We have 21 equals, different sign, subtract, and we have negative 3y. Okay, now we can go ahead and get rid of this times negative 3 by dividing both sides by negative 3. This creates one whole there, and so we're now left with just y on this side equals 21 divided by negative 3 is negative 7. Okay, so there's our answer there. Let's go ahead and plug it in to the check. And so here's how you do the checks. We said y is negative 7, so let's see if that's accurate. Okay, so we're going to plug negative 7 in here. I'm going to put it in parentheses. Also, negative 7 has to go over here. Okay, and so we want to see if putting negative 7 in here creates an equivalent solution. So 9 times negative 7 is negative 63. And then 12 times negative 7 plus 21, if we plug that into the calculator, also equal negative 63. So this checks out. That means our negative 7 is correct. If we got different numbers, okay, then that means that we did something wrong, and we'd have to go back and see what we did. Okay, when we have multiple variables on both sides, remember, it's still going to be that process of moving things around, and you can make your best decision. Remember down here, if we have more than one like term, we should be highlighting like terms, including its positive or negative sign. Okay, so simplify. Okay, then you can go ahead and start moving things around. So that's going to be your process. Please make sure when you're doing the check phase, you put your solution for the variable in with parentheses. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this side. It says, let's try some harder ones. They're really not for you. This is something you've done plenty of times. The example here, remember, we're going to do our arcs for distributive. Okay, so step one is going to be to simplify our sides here by distributing and combining like terms. Always separate your workspace. We're going to be really systematic with this. And you're going to go ahead and write your first layer, which is negative 9x minus 21 equals 9x plus 21. Okay, and then we can go ahead and start moving things around. Whatever you get for x, make sure you come over here and actually write it in here in parentheses. Okay, and then both sides we're going to check, and hopefully they equal each other. Okay. If you have any questions for that, let me know. Some of these you are going to run into some annoying fraction things. Just trust the fraction and work through it. Use your Desmos calculator. It is okay for you to get a fraction as an answer. If you ever get something like this, I'm just writing it here. Let's say you end up with an x equals, and it's like a 10 thirds, and you go to do this and you go, okay, 10 thirds, oh, that's a repeating decimal or something. Just leave the answer 10 thirds. You don't have to write an answer and round it. You can just keep 10 thirds, and that's the number that you would plug in for x. So just be aware of that situation. You're going to run into this while you work on those. Okay. All right. That's it for this section. Go ahead and complete the rest of those checking. If you have any questions, let me know.